Question 1. What year did the Battle of Bosworth Field occur, marking the end of the Wars of the Roses? A. 1485. B. 1455. C. 1500. D. 1471. Answer: A. 1485. The Battle of Bosworth Field occurred in 1485, marking the definitive end of the Wars of the Roses. Question 2. Name the treaty that confirmed the independence of Scotland from England in 1328. A. The Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton. B. The Treaty of York. C. The Treaty of Perth. D. The Treaty of Berwick. Answer: A. The Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton. This treaty confirmed the independence of Scotland from England in 1328. Question 3. Who was the British Prime Minister during the Suez Crisis in 1956? A. Winston Churchill. B. Anthony Eden. C. Harold Macmillan. D. Clement Attlee. Answer: B. Anthony Eden. Anthony Eden was the British Prime Minister during the Suez Crisis in 1956. Question 4. What is the Magna Carta and why was it significant in the development of British democracy? A. A battle victory declaration. B. A royal marriage agreement. C. A charter of rights agreed to by King John of England. D. A trade agreement with France. Answer: C. A charter of rights agreed to by King John of England. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, is significant because it limited the powers of the monarch and laid the foundation for modern democracy. Question 5. Describe the main objective of the Reform Act of 1832. A. To abolish the slave trade. B. To extend the right to vote to more men. C. To reform child labour laws. D. To establish public education. Answer: B. To extend the right to vote to more men. The main objective of the Reform Act of 1832 was to increase the electorate of the UK and make the representation of voters in Parliament more equitable. Question 6. Which monarch established the Church of England separate from the Catholic Church? A. Queen Elizabeth I. B. King Henry VIII. C. King James I. D. Queen Victoria. Answer: B. King Henry VIII. King Henry VIII established the Church of England, separating it from the Catholic Church, primarily to gain religious and political independence from the Vatican. Question 7. Detail the contributions of the suffragettes in the early 20th century. A. They advocated for child labour laws. B. They campaigned for women's suffrage. C. They fought for the abolition of the monarchy. D. They promoted Industrial Revolution reforms. Answer: B. They campaigned for women's suffrage. The suffragettes were instrumental in the early 20th century for campaigning for women's right to vote. Question 8. What was the purpose of the Great Exhibition in 1851? A. To showcase British military conquests. B. To celebrate the end of the Napoleonic Wars. C. To display technological and industrial advances. D. To mark the coronation of Queen Victoria. Answer: C. To display technological and industrial advances. The Great Exhibition of 1851 was organized to display modern industrial technology and design from around the world. Question 9. Who was the longest reigning monarch before Queen Elizabeth II? A. Queen Victoria. B. King George III. C. Queen Anne. D. King Edward VII? Answer: A. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria was the longest reigning monarch before Queen Elizabeth II, serving from 1837 to 1901. Question 10. In what year did the United Kingdom join the European Economic Community? A. 1973. B. 1963. C. 1985. D. 1957. Answer: A. 1973. The United Kingdom joined the European Economic Community in 1973. Question 11. Name the Prime Minister who initiated the National Health Service. A. Winston Churchill. B. Clement Attlee. C. Margaret Thatcher. D. Tony Blair. Answer: B. Clement Attlee. Clement Attlee was the Prime Minister who initiated the National Health Service in 1948. Question 12. What major constitutional change occurred in 1999 regarding Scotland? A. Establishment of the Scottish Parliament. B. Scotland's independence from the UK. C. The abolition of the Scottish monarchy. D. The unification of Scottish and English laws. Answer: A. Establishment of the Scottish Parliament. In 1999, a major constitutional change was the establishment of the Scottish Parliament, granting Scotland devolved powers. Question 13. Describe the significance of the Battle of Britain in 1940. A. It marked the start of the British Empire's collapse. B. It was the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces. C. It resulted in Britain's surrender to Germany. D. It led to the abdication of King George VI. Answer: B. It was the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces. The Battle of Britain in 1940 was significant as it marked the first time a major military campaign was conducted entirely through air force, ultimately thwarting Germany's invasion plans. Question 14. What was the primary purpose of the Human Rights Act 1998? A. To regulate economic trade. B. To incorporate the European Convention on Human Rights into British law. C. To establish educational standards. D. To reform the national healthcare system. Answer: B. To incorporate the European Convention on Human Rights into British law. The Human Rights Act 1998 was enacted to fold the protections of the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law, ensuring fundamental rights and freedoms. Question 15. Who were the main participants in the Glorious Revolution of 1688? A. Charles I and Oliver Cromwell. B. Henry VIII and Thomas More. C. William of Orange and James II. D. Elizabeth I and Mary Queen of Scots. Answer: C. William of Orange and James II. The Glorious Revolution involved William of Orange and James II, where William invaded England, leading to James' abdication. Question 16. How did the Industrial Revolution alter the UK's global economic status? A. It decreased Britain's economic influence. B. It led to a decline in urbanisation. C. It positioned Britain as a dominant economic power. D. It isolated Britain from European trade. Answer: C. It positioned Britain as a dominant economic power. The Industrial Revolution, starting in the late 18th century, transformed the UK into the world's foremost economic power due to advancements in technology and production methods. Question 17. What event triggered the English Civil War in the 17th century? A. The signing of the Magna Carta. B. The imposition of the divine right of kings. C. The execution of Charles I. D. The royal assault on the rights of Parliament. Answer: D. The royal assault on the rights of Parliament. The English Civil War was triggered by conflicts between Parliament and Charles I, particularly concerning issues of taxation, religion, and royal authority. Question 18. Which treaty brought an end to the First World War for Britain? A. The Treaty of Versailles. B. The Treaty of Paris. C. The Treaty of Tordesillas. D. The Treaty of Utrecht. Answer: A. The Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 officially ended World War I for Britain and the Allied powers, imposing penalties and territorial changes on Germany. Question 19. Name the scientific figure who developed the theory of evolution in the 19th century. A. Isaac Newton. B. Charles Darwin. C. Albert Einstein. D. Michael Faraday. Answer: B. Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin developed the theory of evolution, which he detailed in his 1859 book, On the Origin of Species. Question 20. What are the Bill of Rights and its impact on British law? A. A declaration of war rights. B. A set of economic policies. C. A charter limiting the powers of the monarchy and outlining the rights of Parliament. D. A healthcare reform document. Answer: C. A charter limiting the powers of the monarchy and outlining the rights of Parliament. The Bill of Rights in 1689 played a crucial role in shaping the constitutional law of the UK, strengthening the rights of individuals and the power of Parliament over the monarchy. Question 21. Who was the first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? A. Theresa May. B. Margaret Thatcher. C. Elizabeth II. D. Angela Merkel. Answer: B. Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher was the first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, serving from 1979 to 1990. Question 22. Describe the main causes and outcomes of the Gunpowder Plot. A. A plan to increase taxes on gunpowder. B. A conspiracy to blow up the House of Lords and kill King James I. C. A protest against military conscription. D. A movement to restore Catholicism as the state religion. Answer: B. A conspiracy to blow up the House of Lords and kill King James I. The Gunpowder Plot of 1605 was led by Guy Fawkes and other Catholic conspirators aiming to end Protestant rule. Question 23. In which year did women over the age of 30 gain the right to vote in the UK? A. 1928. B. 1918. C. 1945. D. 1930. Answer: B. 1918. Women over the age of 30 gained the right to vote in the UK in 1918, following efforts by the suffrage movement. Question 24. What significant social reform did the Beveridge Report lead to post-World War II? A. The creation of the National Health Service. B. The start of the Industrial Revolution. C. The signing of the Treaty of Versailles. D. The enactment of the Education Act. Answer: A. The creation of the National Health Service. The Beveridge Report of 1942 outlined the need for welfare reforms, which led to the establishment of the National Health Service and other social insurance measures. Question 25. Detail the origins and effects of the British East India Company on the UK and abroad. A. A cultural exchange program initiated in the 18th century? B. A parliamentary group focused on trade regulations. C. A trading body established to monopolize trade routes to the East Indies. D. A military coalition to protect British territories overseas. Answer: C. A trading body established to monopolize trade routes to the East Indies. The British East India Company, founded in 1600, played a crucial role in British imperial expansion in Asia, significantly affecting British economic and political interests. Question 26. Who was the ruling monarch during the Victorian era, and what were her main accomplishments? A. Queen Elizabeth I. B. Queen Victoria. C. Queen Mary II. D. Queen Anne. Answer: B. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria, who reigned from 1837 to 1901, oversaw a period of industrial, cultural, political, scientific, and military change within the United Kingdom, alongside a great expansion of the British Empire. Question 27. What legislation was introduced in the UK to manage the welfare state system post-World War II? A. The Welfare Act 1947. B. The Social Security Act 1952. C. The National Insurance Act 1946. D. The Health and Safety Act 1974. Answer: C. The National Insurance Act 1946. This act was part of the post-war reforms to establish a comprehensive welfare state, providing universal health care, unemployment and sickness benefits and pensions. Question 28. In what year was the Battle of Hastings fought, and why is it historically significant? A. 1066. B. 1215. C. 1415. D. 1348. Answer: A. 1066. The Battle of Hastings, fought in 1066, was significant because it led to Norman control of England, dramatically altering the culture, language, and administration of the country. Question 29. Describe the process and significance of decolonization post-World War II for Britain. A. Britain gained several new colonies. B. Britain gradually granted independence to its colonies. C. Britain expanded its trade networks. D. Britain imposed stricter control over its territories. Answer: B. Britain gradually granted independence to its colonies. Post-World War II decolonization involved the dissolution of the British Empire, with numerous colonies gaining independence, significantly altering the global political landscape. Question 30. What role did Britain play in the formation of the United Nations? A. It was opposed to the formation. B. It was a minor participant. C. It was one of the founding members. D. It joined only after its official formation. Answer: C. It was one of the founding members. Britain played a significant role as one of the founding members of the United Nations, helping to establish the organization in 1945 to promote international peace and security. Question 31. How did the Acts of Union 1707 affect the political landscape of Great Britain and Ireland? A. They separated England from Scotland. B. They unified England and Scotland into a single kingdom. C. They granted independence to Ireland. D. They established English as the official language. Answer: B. They unified England and Scotland into a single kingdom. The Acts of Union 1707 merged the parliaments and crowns of England and Scotland, forming the Kingdom of Great Britain. Question 32. What was the primary reason for the English Reformation under Henry VIII? A. To modernize the country's educational system. B. To assert control over religious practices and institutions. C. To strengthen alliances with other European nations. D. To introduce democratic governance. Answer: B. To assert control over religious practices and institutions. The primary reason for the English Reformation was Henry VIII's desire to divorce his first wife and his subsequent break with the Catholic Church, leading to the establishment of the Church of England. Question 33. Name the landmark legal document that limited the powers of the king for the first time in 1215. A. The Domesday Book. B. The Magna Carta. C. The Charter of Liberties. D. The Royal Edict. Answer: B. The Magna Carta. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, was a landmark document that limited the powers of the king for the first time, emphasizing the rule of law and the rights of subjects. Question 34. Who was responsible for the establishment of the Commonwealth of Nations, and why was it significant? A. George VI. B. Winston Churchill. C. Elizabeth II. D. Oliver Cromwell. Answer: A. George VI. George VI's reign saw the transformation of the British Empire into the Commonwealth of Nations, recognizing the independence of its member countries and fostering a group of nations with common goals. Question 35. Detail the economic and social impacts of the Black Death in 14th century England. A. It led to a decrease in the population and a rise in labour wages. B. It resulted in the expansion of the British Empire. C. It caused a major technological innovation. D. It increased the power of the nobility. Answer: A. It led to a decrease in the population and a rise in labour wages. The Black Death dramatically reduced the population, which led to labour shortages and ultimately increased wages and social mobility for the surviving workers. Question 36. What was the primary focus of the Chartist movement in the 19th century? A. To promote free trade. B. To oppose the monarchy. C. To secure parliamentary reform and more democratic rights. D. To support the industrialization process. Answer: C. To secure parliamentary reform and more democratic rights. The Chartist movement focused on securing a range of political reforms aimed at making the political system more democratic, including demands for universal male suffrage. Question 37. Who led the British forces during the Battle of Waterloo? A. Admiral Nelson. B. Duke of Wellington. C. King George III. D. Sir Winston Churchill. Answer: B. Duke of Wellington. The Duke of Wellington led the British forces during the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, which marked a decisive defeat for Napoleon and ended his rule. Question 38. Describe the implications of the Act of Settlement 1701 on the succession of the British throne. A. It restricted the succession to non-Catholic heirs. B. It allowed women to inherit the throne. C. It established parliamentary oversight of the monarchy. D. It eliminated hereditary succession. Answer: A. It restricted the succession to non-Catholic heirs. The Act of Settlement 1701 was significant because it stipulated that no Catholic or anyone married to a Catholic could inherit the British throne, which influenced the succession for centuries. Question 39. In what year did the Great Fire of London occur, and what were the consequences? A. 1666. B. 1642. C. 1601. D. 1625. Answer: A. 1666. The Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed much of the medieval city, leading to the subsequent rebuilding of London with new architectural styles and better urban planning. Question 40. What were the main reasons for the abolition of the slave trade in the British Empire? A. Economic inefficiency and moral opposition. B. Political pressure from other European powers. C. Lack of resources in the colonies. D. Industrial advancements rendering slavery unnecessary. Answer. A. Economic inefficiency and moral opposition. The abolition of the slave trade in the British Empire in 1807 was driven by a combination of economic factors and growing moral opposition to slavery, spearheaded by campaigners like William Wilberforce. Question 41. Describe the contribution of British explorers to maritime navigation and discovery. A. They developed the first accurate marine chronometer. B. They created the first global trade routes. C. They discovered the Americas. D. They invented the steam engine used in ships. Answer. A. They developed the first accurate marine chronometer. British explorers, notably John Harrison, significantly contributed to maritime navigation by developing the first accurate marine chronometer in the 18th century, which allowed for precise determination of longitude at sea. Question 42. What was the significance of the toll puddle martyrs in labour history? A. They led the first successful strike for higher wages. B. They were early trade unionists who were arrested for forming a union. C. They invented new agricultural techniques. D. They were political activists who changed labour laws. Answer. B. They were early trade unionists who were arrested for forming a union. The toll puddle martyrs were significant in British labour history because their arrest and subsequent punishment in 1834 highlighted the struggle for workers' rights and led to significant support for trade unionism. Question 43. Who was the key figure in the establishment of the police service in London? A. Queen Victoria. B. Sir Robert Peel. C. Winston Churchill. D. Charles Dickens. Answer. B. Sir Robert Peel. Sir Robert Peel was instrumental in the establishment of the Metropolitan Police Service in London in 1829, often credited with being the father of modern policing. Question 44. Detail the impact of the Thatcher administration on the British economy. A. It emphasised agricultural development. B. It decreased government intervention in the economy. C. It increased reliance on coal mining. D. It expanded the welfare state. Answer. B. It decreased government intervention in the economy. The Thatcher administration significantly impacted the British economy by implementing policies that reduced government intervention, promoted private enterprise, and deregulated financial markets during the 1980s. Question 45. What were the causes and consequences of the Jacobite rebellions? A. They were prompted by religious conflicts and aimed to restore James II and his descendants to the throne. B. They were economic protests against taxation. C. They sought to end British rule in Scotland. D. They were military conflicts with France. Answer. A. They were prompted by religious conflicts and aimed to restore James II and his descendants to the throne. The Jacobite rebellions, particularly those of 1715 and 1745, had significant consequences, including the strengthening of the British monarchy and harsh measures against Scotland. Question 46. Explain the significance of the Battle of Agincourt in English history. A. It was a devastating defeat for England. B. It marked the beginning of the English Renaissance. C. It was a major victory in the 100 Years' War against France. D. It led to the signing of the Magna Carta. Answer: C. It was a major victory in the 100 Years' War against France. The Battle of Agincourt in 1415 is significant because it was a major English victory, celebrated for the effectiveness of the English longbow and the leadership of King Henry V. Question 47. Who authored the influential literary work known as the Magna Carta of the English Reformation? A. Thomas Cromwell. B. William Tyndale. C. Thomas More. D. Henry VIII. Answer: B. William Tyndale. William Tyndale, who translated the Bible into English, is often referred to as providing the Magna Carta of the English Reformation through his translations and writings, which significantly influenced English religious thought and practice. Question 48. Describe the impact of the Enclosure Acts on rural populations. A. They improved living standards by providing more farming land. B. They led to the displacement of many rural folk and a shift towards urbanization. C. They decreased agricultural productivity. D. They expanded the rights of rural workers. Answer: B. They led to the displacement of many rural folk and a shift towards urbanization. The Enclosure Acts, which were passed from the 18th to the 19th century, privatized common lands and led to significant social changes by forcing many rural people to move to cities as they lost access to land. Question 49. What role did Britain play in the partition of India in 1947? A. It opposed the partition and worked to prevent it. B. It facilitated the transition to independent governments for India and Pakistan. C. It supported the unification of India and Pakistan. D. It had no role in the partition process. Answer: B. It facilitated the transition to independent governments for India and Pakistan. Britain played a crucial role in the partition of India in 1947, overseeing the process that led to the establishment of the separate nations of India and Pakistan. Question 50. What economic crisis led to the development of the welfare state in post-war Britain? A. The Great Depression. B. The 1970s oil crisis. C. The dot-com bubble burst. D. The post-World War II economic turmoil. Answer: D. The post-World War II economic turmoil. The economic challenges faced by Britain after World War II, including widespread poverty and poor health, were key factors in the development of the welfare state, including the establishment of the National Health Service. Question 51. In which year did Queen Victoria ascend to the throne, and what were her major policies? A. 1837. She focused on expanding the British Empire and social reform. B. 1820. Her policies were mainly about industrial innovation. C. 1819. She worked on abolishing the slave trade. D. 1840. She concentrated on improving educational standards. Answer: A. 1837. She focused on expanding the British Empire and social reform. Queen Victoria ascended to the throne in 1837, and her reign saw significant expansion of the British Empire as well as various social reforms. Question 52. Explain the significance of the Anglo-Zanzibar War as the shortest war in history. A. It lasted only 38 minutes and highlighted British naval superiority. B. It spanned several years and resulted in major territorial changes. C. It was significant for its lack of casualties. D. It marked the end of the British Empire. Answer A. It lasted only 38 minutes and highlighted British naval superiority. The Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896 is noted for being the shortest war in history, lasting only 38 minutes, and demonstrated the overwhelming military strength of the British Empire. Question 53. What was the primary purpose of the Corn Laws in the 19th century? A. To promote free trade. B. To regulate the import and export of grain. C. To decrease the price of bread. D. To support overseas colonies. Answer B. To regulate the import and export of grain. The Corn Laws, enacted in the early 19th century, were designed to protect British agriculture by imposing tariffs and restrictions on imported grain, leading to significant political and social debates. Question 54. Who led the parliamentary forces in the English Civil War? A. Charles I. B. Oliver Cromwell. C. Richard III. D. Henry VIII. Answer B. Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell was a key figure in leading the parliamentary forces during the English Civil War, opposing the royalist forces led by King Charles I. Question 55. What treaty ended the American War of Independence, and what did it signify for Britain? A. The Treaty of Paris 1783. B. The Treaty of Versailles. C. The Treaty of Ghent. D. The Treaty of Westminster. Answer A. The Treaty of Paris 1783. The Treaty of Paris in 1783 ended the American War of Independence, signifying a major loss for Britain as it recognized the independence of the United States. Question 56. Detail the causes and effects of the Highland clearances in Scotland. A. They were caused by agricultural reforms and resulted in significant emigration from Scotland. B. They were prompted by religious conflicts. C. They resulted in an increase in Scotland's population. D. They were part of a military campaign. Answer A. They were caused by agricultural reforms and resulted in significant emigration from Scotland. The Highland clearances involved the eviction of numerous tenants in the Scottish Highlands, primarily to make way for sheep farming, leading to widespread emigration and changes in the Scottish landscape and culture. Question 57. Who was the British monarch during the American Revolution? A. George III. B. Elizabeth I. C. James I. D. Victoria. Answer A. George III. King George III was the British monarch during the American Revolution, a period marked by colonial unrest and the eventual loss of the American colonies. Question 58. What legislation established compulsory education in England? A. The Education Act 1944. B. The Forced Education Act 1870. C. The Balfour Act 1902. D. The Fisher Education Act 1918. Answer B. The Forster Education Act 1870. The Forster Education Act of 1870 established compulsory education in England, setting the framework for public education and requiring children to attend school. Question 59. Describe the effects of the Irish potato famine on immigration patterns to the UK. A. It led to a decrease in immigration from Ireland. B. It caused significant Irish immigration to England and Scotland. C. It had no effect on immigration patterns. D. It increased immigration from non-European countries. Answer B. It caused significant Irish immigration to England and Scotland. The Irish potato famine in the mid-19th century resulted in a massive influx of Irish immigrants to other parts of the UK, particularly England and Scotland, as people fled the famine in search of better living conditions. Question 60. Who discovered penicillin, and why was it significant? A. Marie Curie. It was used in radiation therapy. B. Alexander Fleming. It was the world's first true antibiotic. C. Louis Pasteur. It helped develop vaccines. D. Robert Koch. It advanced germ theory. Answer: B. Alexander Fleming. It was the world's first true antibiotic. Alexander Fleming's discovery of penicillin in 1928 was significant because it introduced the age of antibiotics, revolutionizing the treatment of bacterial infections and saving countless lives. Question 61. What was the impact of the gold standard on the British economy? A. It led to hyperinflation and economic decline. B. It stabilized the currency and promoted international trade. C. It caused the Great Depression in Britain. D. It had no significant impact on the economy. Answer: B. It stabilized the currency and promoted international trade. The adoption of the gold standard had a significant impact on the British economy by stabilizing the currency and facilitating easier international trade, which helped Britain maintain its position as a global economic power. Question 62. Explain the role of Britain in the Treaty of Versailles. A. Britain played a minor role with little influence on the terms. B. Britain was primarily concerned with gaining territories. C. Britain helped to shape the treaty, pushing for reparations and territorial adjustments. D. Britain opposed the treaty and did not sign it. Answer: C. Britain helped to shape the treaty, pushing for reparations and territorial adjustments. Britain played a significant role in the Treaty of Versailles, influencing its outcome to impose reparations and territorial changes on Germany after World War I, aiming to prevent future conflicts. Question 63. What social reforms were introduced during the new Labour government in 1997? A. They reduced public health care and education funding. B. They deregulated the financial markets significantly. C. They introduced the minimum wage, devolution, and improved public services. D. They privatized many state-owned enterprises. Answer: C. They introduced the minimum wage, devolution, and improved public services. The new Labour government in 1997, led by Tony Blair, introduced significant social reforms, including the establishment of a national minimum wage, devolution of powers to Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and investments in public services. Question 64. Detail the historical context and outcomes of the Falklands War. A. It was a conflict between Britain and France over territory in the South Atlantic. B. It resulted in British withdrawal from the Falkland Islands. C. It was a brief conflict in 1982 where Britain successfully defended the Falkland Islands against Argentine invasion. D. It led to a long-term military engagement in South America. Answer: C. It was a brief conflict in 1982 where Britain successfully defended the Falkland Islands against Argentine invasion. The Falklands War involved a swift military campaign by Britain to reclaim the Falkland Islands after an Argentine invasion, reinforcing British sovereignty over the islands and boosting national pride. Question 65. What were the social and economic consequences of the Blitz during World War II? A. It had little impact on British society and economy. B. It led to significant economic growth. C. It caused widespread destruction and hardship, but also spurred innovations and the mobilization of women in the workforce. D. It isolated Britain from continental Europe. Answer: C. It caused widespread destruction and hardship, but also spurred innovations and the mobilization of women in the workforce. The Blitz, the German bombing campaign against Britain during World War II, resulted in significant destruction and loss of life, but also led to technological and social innovations, including the increased involvement of women in industrial and military roles.